Right everyone, we're at Wednesday and we're a day closer to Celtic being back, so let's get on with today's video. Sorry if I seem a wee bit down today. You know that bit of patter I had on yesterday's video about Sead Haksabanovic? So obviously a bit of patter, even say at the end, me slipping on ice, etc. Well, turns out someone at This Is Football has written an article about it today with the genuine headline, "Presenter Delivers Assessment on Cocky Haksabanovic." The first paragraph reads, "Presenter Hamish has labelled Sead Haksabanovic as cocky after seeing the latest training video to come out of Celtic." I mean, dear oh dear, talk about sensationalising something that I said. It's a lot, everyone. I've never actually had bad press written about me. Kind of a bit weird. I'm kind of half joking and half serious, to be honest. So I guess I'll just need to watch what I'm saying from now on the channel. Just not basically say anything, because it turns out anything you can say can get taken out of context. I know how Ange Postecoglou feels now. On with the show, everyone. Let's just get on with it. Anyway, the Celtic influence at the World Cup is over. Josip Juranovic's Croatia were battered, I think it's fair to say, 3-0 by Lionel Messi-inspired Argentina last night in the World Cup semi-final. I say that the Celtic influence is over. We do, of course, have the small matter of the third place playoff on Saturday, hours after our game at Pittodrie. With that game taking place on Saturday, not sure you can expect to see Juranovic play on Wednesday night against Livingston, maybe even not St Johnstone the following Saturday. With Alistair Johnston not able to play until Ibrox at the earliest, I think we're going to see a fair bit of Anthony Ralston over the next couple of weeks. By the way, that is the same Anthony Ralston as Anthony Ralston that was spoken about by Ian Wright last night on ITV's coverage of the Argentina-Croatia game. He's apparently keeping Josip Juranovic out of the Celtic team, according to Ian Wright, which is interesting. Just in terms of what Celtic have received during the World Cup, in terms of payments from FIFA, we are actually just shy of £1 million, which is pretty decent for Celtic not actually doing anything. I mean, that's a fair chunk of money to be taken home. And also just on Juranovic, the latest report regarding him from Sky Italia's Gianluca Di Marzio, who I feel like has had a shocker in the past regarding Celtic. I can't quite put my finger on what it was, but I'm sure he kind of came up with a major report maybe like 5 years ago that just never happened. So we'll take this with a bucket load of salt. But he is saying that Torino are interested in Juranovic. And given some of the teams that have already been linked with Juranovic, nothing against Torino, decent enough side, but they don't seem quite at the level of the likes of Manchester United, Chelsea, Atletico Madrid, Real Sociedad, Barcelona, and open goal Broomhill, who have all registered an interest in Juranovic. The open goal bit was a bit of patter, by the way, before you write a headline about that. Elsewhere, in terms of players who could be leaving next month, Scott Robertson, another who could be on the way out. St Mirren and Scott Brown's Fleetwood Town, possible destinations for him. His contract is up at the end of this season, so I get the sense we're looking at a similar situation to 12 months ago with Ewan Henderson. You may recall Henderson went out on loan for the final 6 months of his contract to Hibernian before then signing a free contract effectively with the Edinburgh club. So I think we'll see something similar happening with Robertson here. Obviously just isn't going to get a look in at Celtic. His contract is up at the end of the season and the reports are that he won't be offered a new deal. Just one of those things. I mean, if we feel like we have a lot of players coming through that you kind of have high hopes for and you maybe see them in glimpses, what as fans we don't see is the training, and Ange obviously feels that he's just not quite at the level to make it in the first team, which is a pretty strong part of the Celtic team. So no shame in that for Robertson, no shame in that for Celtic, and hopefully he gets a good move next month and goes on to have a really good career. Elsewhere, we're kind of going from story to story like mad today. This was a couple of days ago. Celtic Legends will face Liverpool Legends at Anfield next March. That's Saturday the 25th to be precise. A charity match featuring heroes and legends from both sides. Will Harry Kewell play against us, for example? As a guy who was actually at Anfield a couple of months ago for a Legends match, I think it was like Legends of the North, they billed it, and it was Liverpool Legends v Man United Legends. It was a present, by the way, I promise. I didn't decide myself just to go to this, and it was also during an international break. But it was quite fun, and it could be an interesting one for Celtic Legends next year. Who will be in that Celtic Legends team, by the way? Because I feel like as time goes on, the Legends kind of become more recent, if that makes sense. I mean, players who have retired nowadays, there's been a few lately. Would someone like Joe Ledley, for example, be considered a Celtic legend who could play in that game? We might need to ask him about that. Will Neil Lennon play, for example? Who knows? But he has been speaking lately and weighing in on the title race and why he feels that Celtic will win the league this season. Now, that's not a kind of major prediction at this stage, looking at the league table, let's be honest. But anyway, speaking in the National, Lennon says, Rangers have left themselves with no room for error because domestically Celtic have been imperious. They lost at St Mirren, but have won every other game, and some of the football they've been playing has been fantastic. Ange's signings have been excellent. You just need to see how well they've done at the World Cup. Josip Juranovic was man of the match against Brazil, and Dyson Maeda, Aaron Moy and Cameron Carter-Vickers were also terrific. This Celtic team is great to watch. They have vibrancy and speed, and they play with real intensity, and there's a constant ambition to score goals whenever they have the ball and whatever the scoreline may be, and that all comes from the manager, which is why I don't think Michael will emulate what we did 11 seasons ago. We're obviously in a really strong place right now. We've got like a fair bit of margin for error, but it's just about keeping that distance between ourselves and Rangers by continuing to win games, although that is not what they're going to be saying inside the Celtic dressing room, because they're going to want us to extend that lead. We know Ange doesn't like settle for anything. He views any kind of hint of consolidation as going backwards. So we're going to keep striving to be better, and hopefully we can extend that lead before the end of the season. It all starts again on Saturday. A bit of channel news. Delighted to announce we'll have Asim and Stevie both back on over the next couple of days, really ramping things up. Hopefully get Scott McDonald back on next week as well. It really feels like we're getting back into it at this stage, and getting back into it sadly means we need to deal with VAR again. I was reminded of this earlier today when looking at the officials that have been announced for the game on Saturday at Pittodrie. They are referee Stephen McLean, assistant referees Callum Spence and Craig Ferguson, fourth official Alan Newlands, video assistant referee is Kevin Clancy, and assistant video assistant referee is Sean Carr. So yes, that is Saturday. I would love to get to 34,000 subscribers by kickoff. In the past, when we've been going for kind of the next 1,000, and I've kind of promised things. I've promised Carol Starfelt's first goal. It arrived eventually. I promised Georgios Giakoumakis hat-trick. It happened like a couple of weeks after I said that. And this weekend, if we can get to 34k before kick-off on Saturday, I am promising you Matt O'Reilly's first goal of the season. So if you want to see that and you're not already subscribed, you can impact this. Definitely has an impact on it by subscribing to the channel. And of course, a big Matt O'Reilly goal at the weekend would give Celtic an even better chance of getting a big 3 points to kick off the next part of the season as we go full steam ahead to 2 in a row. We'll speak to you tomorrow.
Yeah, Hamish.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you, mate. The league's away. They're bringing Brown Brogues back.
No.